Hello, everyone. This is Sukaina Adele from My Two Cents, and today we are going to dive on our first topic, first dialogue that I really want to have just to set the tone of this channel. And then I would also like to say that, of course, the goal is to be positive and make sure that I'm informing people as much as possible, of course, but this might be a topic where it may hurt certain people's feelings. It may make people a little bit more depressed. However, I'm going to try and be as informative as possible. So, the podcast slash video is titled Truly Understanding Racism. Can we truly understand racism? The answer is no. We have been conditioned to believe that racism exists only in certain areas and only by certain individuals, and that is not true. Most individuals have been exposed to the idea that if you are a certain race or a certain skin tone, you are less than the other counterpart. Now, the reason why I say that a lot of people think that it's only certain individuals and only certain races is because I have gotten a message that someone sent me and they said that they did not know that North Africa is racist. They did not know that a lot of people there do not treat West Africans as nicely, or they don't see them as the same standard or the same level as them. And my response to that is, of course, there's always some kind of racism there because one, they have slaves. So if no one knew, places in North Africa have slaves. And they kidnap people from West Africa and they take them over there and they will hold their passport, they'll hold whatever identity they may have had, and they will keep them there. And they will have no place to go. They will have no recourse in getting back to where they live. And another thing is, a lot of people in North Africa are technically mixed with other different races, other different countries that came in together. And so a lot of people in North Africa, people would think that they're black. No, there's Arabic people that came into North Africa. And of course, there's people that descended from Europe down to North Africa. And it's basically a huge mix. However, most people that are there are more of the lighter complexion. Now, another thing is that people think that racism is prejudice, ignorance, or negative stereotypes. And honestly, that is just a byproduct of racism. Honestly, right now, when we look at racism, we should think about three things, which is the interpersonal racism, which would be hate and violence, meaning you look at another race and you hate them to the point where you want to be violent towards them. And that's when we get organizations such as the KKK. And then the next one is institutionalized racism. Institutional racism. And that is when policies are put in place, justice systems, just some rulings, all that, amendments that are put in place to make sure that a certain group does not advance. And I would definitely say do more research on that because it is such a broad topic, but they're all in one the same. They're all in one a problem when it comes to dealing with racism. And when I say again, the policies in place, I also mean the school systems. Like, I live in Oakland, California, and if you go up to the hills, you will see a completely different system of education in a public school setting, mind you, than you would if you went down to the flatlands or the low income communities. The schools and the way that they function are just not the same. And the amount of effort put into certain communities are clearly seen. And then, of course, the last one is structural racism, which is a combination of interpersonal racism and then institutional racism. Those two together form a structural racism. So, another thing that I really want to say is that it is ingrained in all of us to think a certain way, and that is really what leads to racism. Mind you, you may think, okay, I am a certain race, so of course, I am not going to hate my race. However, if you look at the history and if you look at what they teach you at school, then you are automatically going to think, oh, well, maybe my race is lower than all these other races, or my race is less than, because we are dealing with all these things, and everyone, all the other races are saying that you are less than, and you don't have enough strength to combat those sayings. That's the other issue when it comes to racism. And one thing that I have noticed is that when certain people are fighting for something, even though some other races, which are considered minority, might come and fight with them, in their minds, they don't truly understand what is happening and how, by uplifting the minority, you are helping yourself as well, and you are helping the world as a whole. Now, question for my amazing peoples out there. What is something that you have witnessed that you call an act of racism? Please comment below. And then another thing that I wanted to ask, two more questions. What population do you think benefits truly from racism? And do you have any ideas on how to change the world in terms of racism? Because we really need to address these things before we can truly have a positive change within ourselves and others, and truly make this a positive space for everyone. Please comment below, and if you have any questions, anything that you would like me to discuss, please message me, comment below, and I will absolutely do my best to address, answer as a fellow peer, as somebody that just really wants to talk about certain things because of the experiences that I have gone through.